Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here. Today's topic is this, my friends. If you had to. As always, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you guys coming on and enjoy the show. All right, so we're going to build off a little bit of what we talked about last time in What's Your Leverage. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that one because I'm going to kind of build on it as far as this show goes. So if you think about it in terms of, what would you do if you had to get something done, right? If you had to make sure that there was a certain thing accomplished, or you needed to make sure that a certain thing got done on time, or a certain person had to be at a certain place. Think about it in like a flight, right? Like a flight example. You have a flight going from wherever you live to wherever you're going. And that flight leaves at 7:05 p.m. tomorrow night, or let's call it 7 a.m. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, right? In order to get there on time, you got to make sure you get there, you give yourself plenty of time to go through security, get your ticket, everything weighed, your bag checked, you got your security, you got the walk to the gate, the time that before they board, like everything. Like you need to make sure that you're taking the actions necessary beforehand in order to get there so your butt is in the seat when that plane goes wheels up, right? So there are certain things that you just don't do when it comes to getting that goal accomplished. Like you're not stopping to talk to people at Dunkin' Donuts. You're not stopping to get your workout in the morning. You're not stopping to walk along the beach or walk along in the park before that flight in the morning. Like there's just certain things you don't do, right? So if you have to make that, like there is no choice. There's an absolute latest time frame or a latest barrier in which this thing needs to happen, right? It cuts out all the fluff. It cuts out all the crap. Like it just forces you to be like, okay, what needs to be done or what needs to get accomplished, whatever it might be. And these are the things that must happen in order for this to get done. So it automatically just cuts all the other bullshit out of it. Like it just automatically does that. That's just how this whole game works, right? So how do we consciously choose that style? How do we consciously make ourselves live that way when it comes to things that aren't like life sustaining, right? And how do you do it when it comes to goals in your life? How do you do it when it comes to achieving important things and important projects, or doing it in a relationship, right? Like you have to be able to place like time-based or importance-based deadlines on things that aren't terribly important, right? Call it date night. If you say, okay, date night might not be important to you. Now, for me, obviously, I believe that it's a critical thing. My wife and I, we do date night. I will admit, not on a regular basis because we just kind of get sidetracked with life sometimes. But we have made it a priority, right? And if we say, okay, this is going to happen, date night is going to happen on Saturday this week at 7:00, right? We get to basically cut out all the other things and clear our schedule for that time, so we know that that's going to happen. Now, will life end? Will marriage end just because you don't do date night that week? No, right? Like it's not a pressing thing, but we make it a pressing thing. I make it a pressing thing in order to ensure that it gets done, because to me it's important, to her it's important, so for us it's an important thing, right? And it doesn't have to be date night. It can be in any relationship or any kind of situation that you might be in as well, right? Like what would become important if you like couldn't fail? Like if you just been like, you know what, I'm just going to make a decision, a conscious decision that this is going to happen regardless of whatever else comes up, right? It forces you to be like, okay, well, this neighbor wants to go get ice cream or do something. Well, is that serving the goal that I want to work towards? No. So I'm not going to go do that, right? It might be weird. It might be uncomfortable for you at first to kind of think in terms like this. And it still is for me. Like this is still something that I struggle with on a daily basis. I will freely admit that. Like coming to the fact of, there are monumental, like different tasks being flung at you from all directions every day from every area of life, and being able to weed through those and focus on the important ones that are high value, that are pushing you forward, that are pushing you towards the goals that you've already decided are important, because there's always fires to put out, right? There's always different things going on at work. There's always different projects going on. There's always someone coming up and talking to you about their weekend or what their plans are or what their kids did or what their dog did or whatever it might be, right? And those aren't the conversations that are pushing you forward to do what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying be a dick and never talk to people and be antisocial, but you need to realize that that's the fluff, right? That is the fluff stuff that is not moving you forward. That's not moving the needle forward towards your goal. So it's just taking time away from what you said was important to do, right? So if you knew that there was something that is so important to you that needs accomplished by a certain time, and you have a self-imposed deadline for that, and it has to happen, you'll make it happen. If once you learn to retrain yourself to be like, by 5 o'clock on Thursday evening, this task is going to be done. Boom. You're going to figure out how to do it. You're going to automatically, your brain is just going to work through things to cut out that fluff, to make sure that is done, to take the actions necessary, just like we talked about with the airport thing. Like by Wednesday, you need to be at this level or this isn't going to get done. Like you need to be at this benchmark, or you're just not going to get this done, right? Like if you don't get a cab to the airport by 5 o'clock, like you're going to miss your flight. You're not going to make it through security. You're not going to hit, you're going to hit traffic at the wrong time. Like, that certain things have to happen beforehand at a certain time to stay on track towards that goal. And it's amazing when you apply this theory, and I shouldn't say it's a theory, this practice to the non-important things in your life that you choose to make important, because it becomes like a time management tool. There's so many things that people talk about for time management and productivity and whatever you want, but you realize, like, if you just focus on the things that are making the most impact in your life, you're automatically managing your time well. Like it doesn't, it like kind of cuts all that out for you. It's crazy. And this is, like I said, I'm not an expert on this. This is just something that I am learning myself and practicing over and over and over. That's why I come on here and talk about this, and I think that it's really useful for someone in that spot. Maybe you're trying to get a promotion at a job or make a better relationship work, or try to get back in shape or whatever it might be. And, it's just tough. Like I get it. And you think like, oh, I'm not going to accomplish this in time. I'm not going to get this done in time. It's not going to be as important. Well, you simply have to decide that it's more important than other things, right? That's the first step. The second step is to give yourself a time-based deadline. Like, this needs to be done by this date, by this time, or I fail. Like, I fail, period. End of story. Because this negative consequence will happen if this isn't done. Right? And the third part is getting to work and cutting out the fluff of what other things are coming at you in order to make sure that is accomplished. Right? Okay. So my challenge for you, or my question for you today is this. What is one thing that you want to accomplish? One big, non-important thing that you can choose to make important and start working towards while cutting out the fluff. Like, just choosing this simple decision of just choosing the thing that is not important right now, but you really want to accomplish, and making it a priority and an importance in your life, and giving yourself a time-based deadline to get that done, and making sure that you move forward while cutting the fluff out. It's going to change your approach. It's going to change your downtime. It's going to change the way that you view how you're managing your time. I promise. It's crazy how this works. It's crazy. I've used this in multiple areas of my life, and it works. It just works. So, all right, my friends, that's going to wrap up the show. As always, thank you all for joining. As always, Dan Hafner, you can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter at Run Your Day 1 and Run Your Day Facebook page, as always, my friends. So that's going to wrap up the show. I can't wait to come on here and talk to you guys about something else tomorrow. Got a good topic in mind for you already, and we'll catch you on that one. So have a great rest of your day, my friends.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.